highvolumemusicradio.com. The Business Knowledge Broker Hour.
Hey, yo, Guru, you ready?
Business, marketing, accounting, social media, resources, strategies, tips, events. The Business Knowledge Broker Hour.
It's just savage business.
Grants,
Let's talk
funding,
some business. Come and talk
capital,
some business. Come and talk some
life
business.
insurance,
Let's do
annuities, finances, tax tips, strategies, music, business,
Let's talk some business.
local
Come and talk some
spotlights,
business. Come and talk some business.
business
Let's
highlights,
do business. Let's talk
leadership,
some business. Come and talk some
entrepreneurship.
business.
The
Come and talk some
Business
business.
Knowledge
Let's do
Broker
business.
Hour.
Let's talk some business. Come and talk some business. Come and talk some business. And let's do business.
So family, this is Candace Joseph. I am back in the building. Okay, so I want to interrupt that music break, and we're going to go back to that too. The hits that were curated by my guest on tonight's show. So my next guest, he's absolutely amazing, okay? I'm going to bring up his mic, and I'm going to let him speak for himself. So let's get him on the air. Greetings. Hi, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I am doing
Thanks for having me.
I'm doing absolutely great. This is Candace Joseph, and you are on the Business Knowledge Broker Hour here at Harvard Music Radio. You know, I always like for my guests to introduce themselves. So I think that you're great, and you are more than capable of introducing all of your greatness. So I would love for you to share with my listeners exactly who you are and what is your greatness.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Candace. My name is Brian Edwards. Good evening, everybody. I am the CEO of Building Knowledge Every Day, which is a full-service tutoring company, helping out children, kids, adults, K through 12, anything that you might need tutoring from. We offer. I've worked in the corporate world for over 10 years in finance. But like I said, I made a transition to the education sector because our babies and other people's babies needed the help. That's a small visit of some of the great things that we're doing and that I'm doing. So
Nice. This is the great thing about Brian, right? Brian was my guest last year, around this time, right before, they shut down everything in the city in regards to COVID-19. And I have to say, first and foremost, thank you for coming on again and
no problem.
being brilliant and being great. Since the last time we talked, I know that your business has scaled up a bit, but I do want to know, how did COVID-19 change up the way you guys operated business?
So, yeah, I mean, it hit a lot of people's businesses, especially tutoring companies. I know that there was a lot of people that had built, buildings and offices, and those had to get shut down, but they were still having to pay operating costs. For us, luckily, didn't just, we really did some market research before we, were just thinking of, oh, hey, let's go jump and get an office somewhere. Luckily, our clients basically, some of them we were able to adapt some of them to, online learning. But for the most part, we also had some clients that kind of paused us before, things started getting a little bit better for us in the middle of the year. But we also had some clients that really insisted that, we continue to do the one-on-one learning or the one-on-one tutoring in person. As long, of course, we took, safety precautions, masks, and also social distance, and whenever we would be in that. And of course, I would tell them, my clients would also assume the risk of, hey, if you guys were to continue to do that, then there's that possibility. Of course, there's always that possibility of getting COVID. But our clients, they really, for the most part, and I was very surprised by the response. So for the most part, they wanted the one-on-one interaction in person. As long as our tutor was good with that, we continued it. Of course, for those clients that wanted to do the online learning, we were able to just move them on to, Zoom and, continue that way. And then, of course, with online learning, that what we're finding out now was that, and it's been coming out in the news that online learning has been, I wouldn't say a failure, but it has not been as good for the children as going as doing one-on-one, or not the one-on-one, but doing the in-person learning. So we've been able to, I don't want to say benefit from that standpoint, but a lot of parents have been giving us a call, telling us, hey, my kid needs help, or they're doing their virtual learning and they can't keep up, or that there's a subject matter that they did not get last year when they were doing virtual learning, but they're in school doing in-person learning now. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I can understand where those parents would give you guys a call. As business people, we're used to having those web conference calls and the Zoom meetings, and even for us it could be a overload, right? Just as adults. So I can definitely imagine kids' confusion with that, and then still trying to figure out how to operate and maneuver in those spaces, which were really what college students use nowadays, that are doing those online classes. So I can imagine you guys the calls.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What we found out, and I mean, I've been any parent that has come to us, we've been very successful, of course, with so far with all of the students that have come to our come needed help from our business. I'm knocking on wood now, we've been successful so far. But what we found out, and what we a lot of parents agree with us, is this, that kids that are especially in their middle school and even elementary age, they're just now starting that journey of them learning and being able to build on whatever they're learning.
Yeah.
The problem is that when you are telling kids, oh, hey, you got to go online now, and then, oh, by the way, here's a bunch of work for you to do, and oh, by the way, I know that teachers are really doing the best that they can.
Yeah. But
a lot of and then of course they're those kids' parents, let's say that they can't just sit at home and watch what they're doing, or they have to go to work, and they get back in the evening time, and they don't really have that much time to spend making sure that their kid understands what was learned that day. We found out that a lot of these kids just they have not developed 100% the skills to study. And you really don't learn how to really study until around your freshman and sophomore year of high school, and maybe even your junior year, right?
Right.
Depending upon the maturity level and everything else. Now, when you got into your college, of course, that's when it's a rude awakening of I need to study, I need to read. But here's you're asking babies, hey, telling them, hey, oh, this is what you need to do, and then they become overwhelmed, because not only is it new information they're learning, but also they have to take on that responsibility of I need to study, otherwise I'm going to fail. Then you've got those kids that that will turn in work that's what they get 15 and 20s on.
Yeah.
When they normally, if they were in, we noticed a drop in grades with kids that were in the class, other than when they had to start the online learning.
Oh wow.
So that's something that we've definitely been noticing. I'm sure the state now has been noticing this, especially with these news reports coming out on how bad of a experiment this kind of was. It wasn't the greatest. And then, of course, now, they're debating on, okay, well, if you're virtual learning, then you don't need to even take the STAR exam, which is a big thing. So, it's definitely something. I mean, building knowledge every day. We're a company, we're out here to really support the community, and we're out here to really support any child's learning, and we're out here to support the teachers. We're not here to throw, it's easy to throw teachers on the bus and say, well, teachers should be doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've noticed teachers that, did not, maybe they didn't do their best for the student that we were tutoring, but at the same time, we're here to support them. We're here to support education. So, that's something that our company has basically built its name on, and that's something that we continue to do, and that every day, and every week, that's something that we successfully are able to execute.
No, I absolutely love that, and I love the way that you said we're here as support. You know, a lot of times when people hear about tutoring companies, they think of it as, and some parents might think of it that way too, as a replacement for the teacher. But it's like, no, we're here to support the student in their learning process. So I absolutely love the way that you guys, do that. But this is the thing, you guys have a couple other things in the works too. What's in the future?
So so one of the other things that we are doing, so with this, I'll transition to what you might be alluding to, but one thing that we've introduced, so since the last time that we've been on Candace, is we've introduced LSAT tutorials. We didn't have that before.
Okay.
We actually have a tutor on our roster right now who he went to University of Houston's law school. He got a 175 on his LSAT, which is a 97 percentile. And so, we've had a few students already come our way, and we've been pretty successful at that. We're hoping to grow that area.
Okay.
The other thing that we have added is coding, and I mean computer coding. That's making games. We have a software developer on our staff now who has a few clients right now. He's working with a 10 and a 12-year-old. He can go as low as 6 years old. Then what they're doing is, he's basically teaching them the basics of coding. They're making games with each other, and that's been something that a few of the parents that have started using us, they really, it's definitely something for the future. They're able to use technology.
Yeah.
It's critical thinking skills. It's allowing your kid to really be creative.
And I love that. I love the fact that you guys added the coding, because a lot of times people don't realize that. I'm going to age myself, and I'm okay with that. When back in the before Facebook, there was this great platform called MySpace, and people were doing coding back then and didn't realize that they were doing coding.
Right.
So I love that.
Yeah, we were doing like HTML and everything else. And,
yep.
The things that this coder goes over is C++, Python. And then of course I forgot what the other one was, but there's a third thing but I mean a lot of the game, the games and stuff, C++ and Python that the kids that they'll be learning. And of course it's not just kids that we tutor with that. We've also can also tutor adults with coding in case they want to add to their skills.
I love that.
The last thing that we added, we're actually in the works with it right now. It probably will be rolled out here within the next couple days, probably by the end of next week. We added resume writing to our services.
Awesome.
So we have a HR professional that works at a major hospital here in Houston. He's on our staff now, and will lead that way for us. As we, because we figure, here's the thing. At first, when I came to you back last year, Building Knowledge Every Day, all we were was just a K-12 tutoring company.
Yep.
We didn't really. I had a vision of helping the children out, but then we really evolved ourselves into something that is a one-stop shop for educational success for everyone of all ages.
I love that.
We, with the resume writing, if you are in the job market, you're not sure, what to do, or you need help with writing a resume, or you just need someone to review the resume. That is something, and because we want to be able to create productive members of society at the end of the day. We're not just here to make sure that you pass a class, right? Yes, that is one of our jobs, but we want to make sure that you have a career path, because I told a client last week, we took on a new client, and I told her that we were tutoring her son, and I told her, the mom, and I said, look, we gave your son a assignment to let us know what colleges he wants to attend. He's a sophomore right now.
Yeah.
And then she said, well, why? She goes, why do y'all need to know that? The reason why we do is he needs to have a goal if he has a goal to work towards, if we have a benchmark, he needs a benchmark to see, am I doing enough to get into the school that I need to go, that I want to go to in after high school? So the mom shook her, and her father, they both were shaking their heads like, yeah, that's exactly what he needs right there. That's a goal. Because if he has no goal to work towards, well, guess what? You're just there.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems like, with a bunch of kids that are in high school these days, or even in school, period. They're just there, and there's so much for them to really, a lot of information for them to suck in. They don't really have that much direction on what they should be doing after the fact. So, that's something that we are definitely have evolved ourselves to do. Maybe eventually, we'll do something that, that can affect some type of educational policy. But, because going into something that you have alluded to, so the last thing that we have done with our company, Building Knowledge Every Day is our for-profit. The one thing that we are, and I'm going to just say this now, I mean, you should feel special because this is something we've never really discussed on any type of other podcast.
Wait, but you could just give us a little bit. You don't have to give us a name. You don't have to do any of that. Just give it a little teaser. Hey, I mean, it's already registered and everything. I might as well just spit it out. So we are working on a nonprofit, forming a nonprofit right now that'll be called Building Knowledge Everywhere. So we already have Building Knowledge Every Day, which is our for-profit. Building Knowledge Everywhere. The three tenets of our mission is that we are going to be provide financial support for those students that cannot afford one-on-one tutoring. So it'll be, pretty much income-based for the support of that. The second mission that we're going to do is we're going to be financial support for those teachers that need help getting supplies, paying for supplies in their classroom. We actually have a special way of something that we're working on right now to be able to do that. There's a lot of teachers you see on TV, that right before they, start school, where you hear, oh, a teacher had to spend $500 getting school supplies, or a teacher spent $1,000, so that they could have school supplies. Our company has run several giveaways, our for-profit, and we see teachers that comment under that, and they say, oh my God, we're so grateful that you guys are doing this because this $100 or $300 that we could possibly win is going to go towards school supplies. So I love that.
We see a problem and we've got to go ahead and attack this because there's no reason why as for teachers, yes, we are a tutoring company, but for teachers, they are the frontline workers to our children. They see them before we see them. And so they need to have the adequate supplies so they can teach our children the way that they know how. So that, if the state can't give them more support, if, politically, that can't happen, if they can't make, you know what I'm saying, if the school can't give it, then you know what, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do it.
I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that because, like you said earlier, on the tutorial side, you guys are there as support. And then, to lend a hand to pull up, those that are in, a different tax bracket, different income bracket, socioeconomic stands in order to pull them up into the same light. I love it. Thank you for doing that.
The third thing that we are going to do is we're going to provide college scholarships for those graduating seniors, of course, of lower income, so there are other organizations that do give scholarships for lower income students.
Yeah.
The thing that we overall what Building Knowledge Everywhere is going to be set out to do is we really need to support the future of our nation here. This when we see this organization that we're going to be forming. Yeah, it's going to start in Houston, but I mean, we really see this program going to Chicago. We already have a great board, which when we get fully, probably around, I'm thinking at the middle of March, when we start announcing everything, we will introduce those people. and everyone's going to be like, wow, that's a pretty strong board.
I love
But
it.
we already have a great board that's going to be able to help push our mission or give us that direction. And then of course we have a little bit of a staff that's going to help us as well. The other thing is that, we see ourselves in Houston, we see ourselves, in Seattle, in New York, in Chicago. We're these cities that definitely need the support for an education base, especially in these type of communities. Just because, I don't believe that education should be, or that you should be limited on your education just because of your income.
That's right.
Especially in the United States of America.
Yes, that's correct. I feel you.
Yes, there are policies and stuff that that support certain areas, but then we're seeing that there's resources that basically are not. The kids, a lot of these kids are not getting the resources. Yes, they're saying there's resources out there, but it's not flowing to where the kids really need the help. And then of course we start seeing this generational thing that happens. You start seeing generational poverty.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: these kids are going to be the leaders. They're going to take over. Eventually we're going to get old, and to me, I would like to leave our society with children that are educated
And capable.
or at least have some type of that are productive.
Yeah.
If I'm old, I'm like, I can't. Hey, if I got to be wheeled around or something, we need to have. And it doesn't matter where they came from.
Yes.
That's the thing.
And I love that. I love that because every young person out there they need to know that people are here that truly support them and want them to go after their dreams. And
Yes.
just like the organization that you guys are forming, like you said, there are others as well. And the thing about it is that with each person in each organization that does their part to fulfill the dreams of our future generation, that's just amazing. Just think about it. We are bringing up our caretakers in a way. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
In order to get great inventions out there and great products and great services, we have to show kids the greatness, but we have to make sure that we create lanes of opportunity for them to do so. So, only thing I have to say to you, sir, at this moment, and we're gonna get into it. But first of all, round of applause.
Hilarious. That's good stuff.
Well, this is the thing. I love the fact that, you guys said, okay, yeah, we have a for-profit, lane. But at the same time, we can do more. We can tap in and do more as a company. And I think that's
Right.
amazing. And, I always encourage people to give back to their communities. Because, like
Yes.
you said, eventually these are the spaces and places where we're going to flourish. And we want the youngsters to flourish too. And, because every day that we live, we're basically chasing our own mortality. You know what I mean? We're thinking about it. It's there. But
Right.
I absolutely love that. And thank you guys for, what you do in the space for adults as well. Especially the LSAT alone. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was a big thing for us. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a need out there, especially for a lot of people that want to go into law school and, do other things, So, I mean, yeah, those are, like I said, for the nonprofit, those are definitely some of the things that we'll be doing. And then, of course, I'm sure we'll be able to expand our other services once we get everything up and running. So, like I said, right now we're pending with the IRS for our 501s, and so we've already, like I said, we already put our board together. We're about to finish up our website. So this stuff is happening, people. This is something that's gonna take place, and we hope to lead in this space, especially hopefully to lead policy and to be influential in this space of education. Because like I said, there's a lot of resources, and we just want to make sure that it gets to the kids that really, really need it,
Yeah.
and that they can use it to help better their own future, especially from the situation that they came from.
Yep.
So.
And I appreciate you for that because, and thinking of the parents in regards to the resume writing, because a lot of times people don't realize nowadays when you submit a resume, it's just going through one of those machines that's, going to pick up on certain keywords, and it's either going to move your resume on or is going to put it in a quote unquote file,
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that in the space of, algorithms, So I
Right.
definitely appreciate you guys for doing that, because a lot of people need it. And some people think, oh, I've been working at the same job for 10 years. Yeah, but the way that you apply for jobs now and what they look for in resumes is so different. It's so different. In the past, people say, okay, you want to highlight your education. Nowadays, people want to say, okay, what are your skill set? What are the things that you have been strategic about with the company that you work for to help them reach greatness? It's so much more out there than just the job duties, when it comes to resume space. So I definitely appreciate you guys for being in that lane, because a lot of people need help with that. Everything is changing now. Even the way people are interviewing for jobs is changing, due to COVID-19. So that within itself is amazing. Thank you guys for doing that. I love it. I absolutely love it. So you know what, Brian? If any of the parents that are listening, any of the people that are out here that are 9-to-5ers, maybe they're thinking about a different career and they want to tap into the resume writing services. They want to tap into the LSAT, for some of these recent, college graduates or those that are, about to graduate. And those youngsters out there in the K through 12 space, how can they reach out to you? How can they get that assistance from your great company?
So they can visit our website, buildingknowledgeeveryday.com. And we also have a Facebook, Building Knowledge Every Day, and our Instagram is at Building Knowledge Every Day. And it's all mashed together. So that, like I said, we hope that, there are people that if they need the help, that they will reach out. We're definitely, one of our things is we're also affordable. We're not going to, there's companies that are charging $70 an hour, $65 an hour, for such services and everything else. But we're not here to, bust people's pocketbooks open and hope we make as much money as we can in terms of tutoring.
Yeah.
We're here to actually help. We really want to do that. We understand that there's a lot of conscientious parents. Another thing is, though, you can't cheapen out on your child's education. I say that, just to put that out there. So, you got some parents that are like, wait, that's what I have to do what? Wait, oh, that's a little. I'm like, we've done our research. We're one of the lowest out there. So.
Yep.
It doesn't get any better than, really doesn't get any better than ours.
Well,
So-
all I have to say is this. Thank you for the spaces and places that you do things. And thank you for being you. Thank you for giving us that knowledge tonight. And to give us
Absolutely.
that update 1 year later of the great things that you guys are doing at Building Knowledge Every Day. I just want to say thank you.
No, thank you so much, Candace, for having us, or having me on. And, like I said, one last thing I'd like to just say,
Yeah.
we hope that when we do launch our nonprofit, that we really get support from the community on that. This is definitely something that it will and can influence and change, the future of, or change the direction of a child who is in need or who feels like they can't really go anywhere because they don't have funds or
Yeah.
et cetera. We're really going to do some real work here, so this isn't just something that this is for show. We're going to do some real work.
Yes, sir. I love it. And look, this is just a little sidebar because tonight I'm calling the playlist, the money hits. That's what I call it, right? Each and every show.
Right.
And it's the thing, the songs that you sent in, yeah, they rock. And I put them in my personal playlist. And so I want to say thank you for being my guest tonight. And we're going to play a couple of those songs. I'm going to play a little Nipsey Hussle and some Big Crit. And, we're going to get into those tunes that Brian suggested because this is the thing. Every day you wake up, you should be motivated to do greatness and, to just be great, be air, be light. And I love the fact that Brian is one of those change makers. He's a change maker in that space because he wants people to think beyond the classroom and think beyond, the limits of your boundaries, in the space of getting the education that you need in order to step forward and just do awesome work. So I want to say thank you, Brian, for being my guest tonight. And I really
you so much,
appreciate you. No problem. Anytime you guys launch the nonprofit, bring your board members too. We're going to have a sit down and because I think great people need to know about great happenings everywhere. And you guys,
Absolutely.
I know you guys are going to be a powerhouse together. And I want to see great, amazing work. So just definitely keep me updated. definitely let me know, and I will be there on your first day of launch, and wish you success.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Candace, and thank you guys for having me tonight, and I hope everybody has a good night.
All right, you too, Brian. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
HighVolumeMusicRadio.com. The business knowledge broker out.
Hey, yo, Guru, you ready?
Business.